In one of my previous messages to you that I wanted to share, I was talking about opportunities. Because I talk to people and I go, but there are no opportunities. Think of it, there are no opportunities. That's a belief, right? There are always opportunities, my friends. And the things you think about, so we're coming back to your mind again, over and over, your mind and emotions. That's what I do, NLP and timeline therapy, right? Your mind and emotions determine the quality of your results. So opportunities always exist, and I'm going to say something else. They also multiply as they are seized, but that requires control over your mind and the change necessary for a new way of thinking, which is not available in the old box. See, we don't decide, because people go, oh, if you think about creating your future, you're believing in faith. That's not what I'm talking about. This is not an issue that we discuss in the context of NLP and timeline therapy. We decide our futures in as much as we decide our habits, our behaviors, and if we choose to stay stuck versus to free ourselves. Because our habits, our behaviors decide our future. So that's where we need to intervene and work to change, to make that change, yeah? Because there is, in my opinion, there is only one thing actually that makes things impossible to achieve, and that's the fear of failure, which, by the way, is one face of a coin, which is called fear of failure, works hand in hand with fear of success. But those two, fear of failure and fear of success, is simply, simply limiting beliefs and limiting decisions. Who decided? When did you decide in your life to be afraid of failure or to be afraid of success? You weren't born this way. You weren't born being afraid that you're going to fail. Somewhere along the way, you have allowed unconsciously to yourself to adopt that belief. And so, again, this is something that I'm not saying that is all along in business books, in philosophical works, in metaphysical or spiritual works, wherever you look, all over the planet, regardless of the culture you're coming from. As an advice, never stop learning, because life never stops teaching. See, even I have a few words to say for the people who search for spirituality, and I'm one of them, right? When we start, we imagine that we become enlightened by imagining figures of light, right? And we're moving toward the light. But we fail to consider that in order to do that, we're making the darkness conscious. Now, what is darkness? We can equate darkness, at least in my mind, darkness is equated with unconsciousness. And you say, no, but there are evil beings out there. No, I believe in cause and effect, and this is one of the things I teach. Because it's a way of thinking that leads to results, leads to success. So what we need to do is to make the darkness conscious. And I believe it was Carl Jung who said also that until we make the unconscious conscious, we will think of it as faith. Because unconsciously, we carry with us a lot of things that prevent us to act, be, and do things that free us from the place where we're stuck. Again, there are hundreds and hundreds of people in history. As you look back in history, and if you study in spiritual practices, in philosophy, even in religions around the world, coming all the way to the most modern materialist view of reality that say the same thing in different words, using different concepts, but the whole idea that goes through is the same. We need to become conscious and in control of this. Now, how do we do this? We know this, we heard it so many times, but here is the thing. Many times you are given what to do, but not told how to do. And that's what I'm teaching you. That's what I always wanted to share with you, to allow you to make things, to tell you how to do it, because none of us knows before we even begin. So I wish you well. Just as a reminder, I want to invite you to join me at the NLP Master Practitioner that starts at the end of this month, and I'll share with you some incredible techniques that will absolutely blow your mind. Until then, be well, my friends.